Hello everybody, 7.3 JavaScript events, hide on the click. So up until now we've worked with text and we've worked with forms, but I don't think we've really changed much to do with CSS through JavaScript. So we're going to try that right now. And basically we have our document, here's our HTML, here's our head, here's our body, and our body consists of one div with the ID called first div. It's called my first div. Second ID says second div, and a button, and it says hide first div. So let's look at our CSS file, and our first div, our background is green, and the second div is yellow. So if we run it, run our code, we have a first div and a second div, and if we click on hide first div, nothing happens. So let's take a look at that again. Our input type is button. It says hide first div. That's what it says. And here it says my event listener. It calls this. Now when we look at our JS file, our JavaScript file, well, it says function my event listener, open and close brackets, and then two curly braces. And this is the code that executes when the button is pressed. So how do we do it? Now, do you remember the last time we had something called? Try and recall how to get a document, how to get an element from HTML. And if you want, you could Google it. Go ahead and do that now. And if you've already done it successfully, you've seen that document.get element. I guess I have to do it like this. Get element by ID, and the ID of it is what do we have to hide? Fill the function with code needed to hide the first div. And what's the first div called? Right here. Control C. Document. So document.get element by ID first div. Now let's look at the hint. To hide an element with JavaScript, you need to do element. So that's our element. Document.get element by ID first div. Dot style. Dot display. And I'm not sure how to do this, but let's take a guess and say none. I wonder if that'll work. Let's run our code. Press, and that's, oh, it took a long shot. So what this did was it has a quality called display, right? In here, my event listener, my first div. In here, automatically, it has something called style display, and it would say block. If I run my code, it'd be automatic. If I said none, it would automatically disappear. So let's say if I wanted it to appear, what would I do when I push the button? Well, when I push the button, nothing happens. Why? Because it's getting the document by ID, it's accessing its style, then the display, and setting that equal to whatever's on this side. So we're putting none into this. So if I wanted to do that, I could say block here. So when the button is pushed, it appears. So let's start. Run. So remember, at this stage, now we've changed the exercise. We already solved it. But it starts with style display is none. And when I push the button, it says gets the element by ID first div, and it accesses its style dot display. That's how we access it. And we say it's block. Now when I click it, it appears right there. All right, so let's just change it back to none. We want it to disappear. So by default, it's not going to be there. So let's just remove that. If I run my code, it appears. When I press it, it disappears. That's how you do 7.3. Hide on click. Submit. And you're done.